If you're getting on sales calls and you're finding that the rapport isn't at the level that you need to go deeper with your questioning to get more buy-in from the people that you're speaking with, and more than that, you're just not able to go to the emotional level you're after, listen up, because I'm going to show you how to break through that really quickly. It's actually really simple. It just takes a bit of a reframing in the way that you're going about your calls. So starting at the basics, the way that I perceive my sales calls is I'm there to do two main things. Number one, I'm there to qualify the person and see if I can help them. All right. So when I say qualify them, it's not about whether or not they are good enough to fit my offer. It's whether or not they're a fit in the first place. Yes, they may be an X, whatever the X is. Yes, they're in a specific niche. Yes, they offer a specific service. I might be able to help them. However, going deeper than that, what does qualification really mean? Well, the way that I consider qualification is are they a fit? And if they should, would they be able to buy? Okay. So what that means are they a perfect fit for your offer? It's the simplest way to put it. Do they have the finances to invest? If they do have the finances to invest, and by the way, this is in no linear order, obviously, I would say most importantly, do they have a problem or pain point that you can solve? Do they have an unfulfilled desire that you can help them reach? Do they have the finances to actually invest? Like, forget about the fact of whether or not you can help them for a second, although that's the most important part. Like, don't pitch people that you can't help. But if you can't help them, but they don't have any finances to invest, then you can't help them. Like, understand, like, unless they go and get access to credit, capital, outside sources, investors, or improve their cash flow to be able to invest with you, you can't help them. That's part of the qualification, is financial qualification. Now, depending on which level of businesses you're speaking with, you're not going to run into that issue, okay? So back to reasons for the sales call. Number one, I'm there to qualify them and see if I can actually help them. Again, that also includes financial qualification, as well as seeing if they have a pain point I can help them fix, and if they have an unfulfilled desire that I can help them reach. You know, if they want to get somewhere that I can help them get to, perfect, they're a fit, I can help them, it's amazing. But the other thing is not just qualifying, but it's also if I can help them and if they are qualified, I'm there to do absolutely everything I can in my power to get them to take action in buying the offer. And the reason for that is because I have something that can change their lives. At this point, we have so many good results and testimonials and case studies that I'm at the point where I have full conviction in what it is that we do. If I'm on a call with somebody and I can help them solve the problem that we solve, and quite frankly, if I like the people and I actually want to help them, I want to work with them, because that's a very important part as well. If I want to be able to help these people, then I owe it to them to do everything in my power to get them to take action. So coming back to the original point, right? That's why we're on the call in the first place, to qualify them and get them to take action if they are a qualified fit. So you have to look about how you're coming to the call in the first place. Well, with those two things in mind, number one, you're not going to be very pushy with somebody, especially if they're not a fit. But if they are a fit, then you're going to help them see why they're a fit. Because you have to understand that if they are a fit, they are in this situation where they're either going to buy or they're not going to buy. And the only thing standing in the way of that is them, okay? It's their own concerns, their own limiting beliefs, their own fears, their own reasons for not taking action. If you're offering something that you have 100% conviction in, and you know that they're a fit because you've pitched them, remember, we're only pitching people that actually would be a fit for what we're offering. In that scenario, you owe it to them. You owe it to them to pitch them in the best way that you possibly can, to make sure that your pitch is customized and goes directly to them and makes them think, hey, this is a perfect fit for me, because guess what? In that scenario, it is. They are qualified, so you owe it to them to pitch them. So let's get back to the original core point of the video, and I wanted to set up the foundations and the fundamentals first to lead on to this point, okay? Because once you understand what the call is about, you understand, again, you don't need to be pushy, because your first role is to qualify them. And while you're qualifying them with the line of questioning that you have, you're setting up everything that you need to get the deal closed later, okay? They do two things. The questions that you ask qualify, and it gives you all of the data, or for lack of a better analogy, ammunition that you need to close the deal later. And again, remember, it's not you against the prospect, it's you working for the prospect. It's you against their limiting beliefs, their reasons for not taking action, right? That is what you're going against. It's not you against them, it's you with them in their corner, fighting these limiting beliefs, fighting these reasons for them not to take action, okay? You really need to understand this before you move on, so please make sure that you do, okay? Now, when it comes to the call, we're coming into that with that part in mind. We are there fighting for them. The first thing is to qualify them. Once they're qualified, It's to pitch them and then handle any concerns that they have, or objections, right? We call them objections. Really, they're just concerns that they're bringing up. They're saying, hey, you know what, that sounds a little bit expensive, or hey, I just don't know if it's going to work for me. Okay, well, why not? What is it that makes you say that way? What is it that makes you bring up that concern? Why do you feel that it wouldn't work for you? Because again, we're only pitching people if we're 100% confident that this will work for them. So tell me why. Like, why do you think it wouldn't work? Like, okay, why do you think it wouldn't work? But once you understand all of this, you understand that the way that you can change the call and get people to open up, be able to go deeper in your questioning, is because you come from this perspective at the beginning of the call naturally. Where this place is, you are already in their corner. You're coming in, a sales trainer, I think it may have been Cole Gordon, I'm not too sure who I heard this from originally, but it was like the trusted advisor. It was either Cole Gordon or the other guy, I forget his name, the 7th level guy. Either of them, from the first time I heard this trusted advisor perspective, right? Where you're coming in and you're saying to them, look, ultimately at the end of the day, I'm just going to ask you some questions. If I can help you, then I may pitch you, because guess what? I can help you. I can solve the biggest problem that you've got, or help you achieve that desire that you have. I owe it to you to pitch you. Like, I promise you I will pitch you because I'm here to help you, okay? So we're taking that perspective of the trusted advisor. And this all comes from everything that I've been speaking about in this video, is you understanding what you're there to do. It's not just to close the deal. It's not just to make money. You shouldn't be pitching people that aren't a fit, okay? And the people that you do pitch, you should be going the full length that you need to get them across the line and get them to sign up. Because if you pitch them, they are a fit, meaning you can help them, okay? It's just you combating these little bits of issues that they have and concerns that they have, why they're not taking action. So once you understand all of that, okay, and I hope this is all making sense. This is a really impromptu video. There's no notes today. I'm just rolling off the tongue, but I hope it's making sense. The way that you come into the call at the very beginning, everybody talks about rapport. I'll tell you what, I start my call within about a minute of them getting on the call, right? And what I mean by that is I'm asking them what's the main problem within about a minute. I'm getting straight to the core of the issue. The rapport is built not by you talking about, oh, you're based in Bali? That's amazing, man. What made you decide to move to Bali? That's not what builds rapport. What builds rapport is showing that you know what you're talking about and you have something that could help them. When they get that vibe from you and they realize, hey, this guy is serious, this guy knows what they're talking about, or this girl or whoever you are, that's where the rapport is built, and that will allow you to go deeper, because it's the quality of the questions that you ask that show whether or not you actually know what you're talking about. Because the newbies, the brand new people, and there's going to be a lot of you watching this video right now, and it was once me, by the way, when I first started taking calls, it was really surface level. It was like straight out of a script, straight out of a book. It's by the quality of questions that you ask that allow you to go deeper. Okay, so at the very beginning of the call, as I said, I say, hey. If they don't have a camera on, they'll probably say, hey, can you hear me? I'll say, yeah, sure, I can hear you. I can't hear you. I can't see you right now. Is it supposed to be like that? And then that will give you them an opportunity to either turn on the webcam or not turn on the webcam. And then once they're in, I'll be like, hey, what's going on? I may ask them, what have you been up to today? Like, what's been going on? Just a quick question. They say yes. And I'll be like, great. Just got back, just made a little protein shake, just got back from the gym, but I've been looking forward to speaking with you. And then I'll frame the call, like just right away. I'll frame the call. I'll say to them, ask them permission first. I'll say like, hey, unfortunately, we don't actually have too much time today. Are you okay if we kind of jump straight in? They'll say yes. I'll ask them if they have a pen or paper or something to take some notes with. They will say yes, or I'll sit there where they're going to find a pen and paper. And then I'll frame the call. I'll tell them what's about to happen, and the fact that I'm going to ask some questions, and if I can help them, then I'll probably end up pitching them at the end. And they'll say okay, and then I start with okay, so what's the biggest, then I go ahead and ask them basically what the biggest problem is. Like, what's the biggest issue right now? And they tell me, and then we get context, and then da-da-da-da-da. I'm not going to continue there because I'm going to go into the full sales framework. If you want that, just comment down below. I'm more than happy to share the framework with you that I use. But that's not even the point. The point is, it's by the quality of the questions that build the rapport. And the questions come from the two main purposes of the call. Number one, qualifying, and number two, getting everything that you need to combat any concerns that come up later. All right, so think about the most common objections you get. Financial, maybe trust, especially if you're doing cold, partner concerns, things like that. Or you can avoid pretty much every objection or concern that can come up by the questions that you ask. If you're like me, where pretty much the only concern, the only objection I get today is financial logistical, which means they do not have the money to invest. They 100% believe in it, they 100% want to take action, but they do not have the cash to invest. Now, whether or not they go ahead and they look into credit, for me, I don't like to push credit. If somebody wants to do it, they can do it. For me, I've invested in many things using credit, so I've got quite a high risk tolerance, and I'm happy with taking action and getting into debt in order to take action on things that I believe will help me. But a lot of people aren't in that place. Now, I could go ahead and help them overcome that, but that, again, is a conversation for another video. The point is, I'm coming in from this perspective of trusted advisor, and I'm going to ask them the questions that I need to build up the ammunition, again, for lack of better words, because the ammunition is against the concern. It's not against them. It's you working with them to overcome their concern. Okay, I hope this makes sense. So once you have that all built out and you understand this perspective, the way that you're going to ask your questions are going to come from that trusted advisor perspective. And when it comes from that trusted advisor perspective, then you're able to go deeper because you're asking better quality questions and you're really trying to figure out what their problems are, if you can help them, and if you can help them, getting everything that you need to be able to close the deal later on. In this case, it would be understanding what their leadership structure is in the business, and that will help you avoid any I need to speak to the partner, because if they do need a partner, then you don't pitch. You ask them, okay, well, what does the leadership structure look like in the business? They say, it's me and my business partner. And I say, okay. And how do you guys kind of divide up the roles? Like, what is it you do? What is it your business partner does? If they say anything that makes it clear that the other person needs to be involved in making the decision, I'll be like, cool. So I think the best thing for us to do is just kind of pause right here. We've had a great chat, but I really want to speak to your business partner before taking this further, just to get both sides of the story and make sure that everything is kind of like aligned and, you know, make sure everybody's on the same page. And then I won't pitch them. And then by not pitching them, I'm not going to get that partner objection that could come up later. Same way with trust is it's like, I'll be able to pick up on that pretty early. Like, we're going to build trust through the call. And by the way, like, I've got a 94% show up rate, which means that pretty much everybody's showing up to the call. Like, we've got a really good nurture sequence that gets people pre-warmed and nurtured for the call. So I don't really have people showing up to the call that aren't familiar with who I am and don't have any trust, because they know the incredible results that we've achieved, okay? And then financial, as I said, that's my only main objection right now, is because people don't have the cash. And I can avoid that by doing financial qualification early on. So if I find out that they're a new business, not making much money, then I'll go down a financial qualification sequence and make sure that they do, whether or not they do have the finances to invest. And if they don't, I can end the call. But maybe, you know, sometimes people do. So sometimes you just got to kind of take your judgment and figure out what would be the best course of action. But if they're a brand new business, they don't have any investors or anything, and they're like working a part-time job, depending on what you're selling, they're probably not going to be a fit. But most of you guys as agency owners, you're not going to run into that situation, okay? Hope that all makes sense. If you are an agency owner and you're looking for a more consistent and predictable flow of qualified calls and clients to your agency, click the first link down below. It will show you how you could potentially work with me one-on-one to grow your agency on a guaranteed basis. So if you're interested, click the link. If not, it's totally fine. Click the subscribe button instead. If you do want a full video on my sales framework, just comment down below, let me know, and I'm more than happy to make a video about that in the future. I'm actually quite surprised that I haven't yet, but if you want it, let me know. If you've got any questions about what I've been speaking about today, let me know. I know it was a bit of a here and there kind of video where it kind of went all around, but I really hope it made a lot of sense and that you got value from it. If you did, again, subscribe, like, comment, do all of that cool stuff, and I'll see you again in the next one.